Hello, dear students. After a long time, we are back with online studies and we'll be starting the last chapter of this semester, which is Unit 6 What a Wonderful World. So let's start it. Activity 1. Read the following text. Curiouser and curiouser, cried Alice. She was so much surprised that for the moment she quite forgot how to speak good English. Now I'm opening out like the largest telescope that ever was. Goodbye, feet. For when she looked down at her feet, they seemed to be almost out of sight. They were getting so far off. Now, curiouser. It means it is getting more curious. Curious, not in the word like she's eager to learn, but in a way like it is unusual. It is strange. So the things are getting stranger and stranger. They are getting more strange than before, cried Alice. And why? Because she was surprised, like it was like everything was getting stranger, and she was so much in surprise that she was not even speaking perfectly, like she quite forgot how to speak good English. And what is she telling? That she is opening out like the telescope. You know, telescope, when you have to open telescope, first the lens comes out, then to increase its height, it's like that's how it opens. So here Alice is telling that she was opening like the telescope, and she also said goodbye feet. She's telling to her own feet goodbye. Why? Because when she looked down at her feet, they were almost out of sight. She cannot see her own feet, they were getting so far. From this we can see like Alice is getting longer. Yeah, in the image also you can see Alice, her neck and all. They are not like normal. They are getting longer. Oh, my poor little feet. I wonder who will put on your shoes and stockings for you now, dears. She is talking to her own feet. Like, who will put on shoes and stockings? I'm sure I shan't be able. I shall be a great deal too far off to trouble myself about you. Though she is talking to her own feet, she is telling that I won't be able to do that. It will be like she'll be too far to trouble herself about her feet. You must manage the best way you can. But I must be kind to them, thought Alice, or perhaps they won't walk the way I want to go. Just imagine the things. Like your feet are so far that you are asking them to manage by themselves. The best you can. Do the best way you can. But then she's telling that I must be kind to my feet. Why? Because if your feet are not listening to you, they won't walk the way I want to go. Let me see. I'll give them a new pair of boots every Christmas. So, what is she doing? To show that she is caring for her feet, she will give them a new pair of boots every Christmas. And she went on planning to herself how she would manage it. She continued thinking about how she would manage gifting to her own feet. They must go by the carrier, she thought. Carrier, like the transporter or the shipment, the mover. So the gift must be given by the carrier. And how funny it will seem sending present to one's own feet. Now, this is actually, I know when I would have explained this to you in class, you guys would not have thought like this is really ridiculous. But imagine, it's all imaginary. So she's thinking like how funny it will seem sending presents to one's own feet, sending gift to your feet, and how odd the directions will look. Imagine the directions. Whenever we are writing or sending a gift, the address is written, the directions are written. So what will be the directions for gifting to feet? Like how odd they will be. This is an excerpt from Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, Chapter 2. Now, Alice in Wonderland, it's a really nice book. Like, There have been various plays, there have been various series or movies based on that. But the original book by Lewis Carroll, this is an excerpt from that. This is a part from it, from chapter 2 of that book. So just think, like, this was the chapter 2, this was the beginning of that book. How things were when Alice entered the Wonderland. Wonderland is full of surprises. Imagine you are Alice. Now, let me give you the introduction. Like, Alice was a young girl, like same age as you guys, and one day she found a rabbit or a hare with a clock, and he was running here and there, and she followed him, and he went into a tree. Alice followed him, and there she went deep down, and there she found some bottles which were little there were things which said like eat me, and she ate it, and then drink me, she drank it, and after drinking she grew tall or long like this. So now you have to imagine that you are Alice, that you, all these things happened with you, and you have grown so tall. What present will you send to your feet? Do not copy Alice's answer. You have to think by yourself. And then write the directions that you will put on your present. You have to give a present, and then you have to send that present via carrier or a transporter. So what directions you will write? You have to write this in your textbook. Everybody can use their own imaginations, and all the answers are correct answers. So do try. Share your ideas with your classmates. Do they have any unusual ideas for presents that you didn't think of? List 2 such presents. You have to write your own ideas, and when we'll be having a live class via Google Meet, we'll be sharing, you guys will be sharing your ideas, and then we can write this. Activity 2. Wonderland is not real, but there are things in our real world that are full of wonder. They amaze us and fill us with surprise. What is in the picture? Talk to your classmates. What do they think it is? So now, Wonderland. You know, it's not real, it is imaginary, it's fantasy. But there are things in real world which are also full of wonder, which are surprising. So same way here we have an illusion. What do you see in the picture? Like I can say that the first time you can see just one thing, and then when you look closely you will find that it's not just a particular animal or a bird. Both of them are true. Did you get different answers? Some of my classmates think it is a blank, but some of them think it is a blank. Well, to give you the answer will be, some of them may think that it is a rabbit, and some of them will think it is a duck. If you see the image again, you will find that both the answers are correct. Activity 3. Sahil loves hot air balloon rides. He runs to the balloon and quickly climbs into the basket. He gets excited when the fire lights up. Slowly the balloon begins to lift the basket and it begins to fly. Sahil looks down. He sees how the trees and houses begin to look smaller until they seem like toys. He then looks around him. The white and fluffy clouds are very close to him. He reaches out and tries to touch them. At the end of every ride, he says, "Can I do it again?" Now, Sahil, he is a boy and he loves hot air balloon rides. From the image, you can see like how the hot air balloons are. So he will run and quickly climb into the basket. The basket which is at the end, and above it there is a big balloon, and which is filled with hot air, and because of that only it can fly in the sky. So he gets excited, like when the things are about to start, the fire lights up, and then the balloon slowly lifts the baskets and they begin to fly. When you are reach a particular height, you can see that other things start looking smaller. So on the ground, when he sees like trees, houses, they look small like toys. And then when you are high up in the sky, when Sahil reaches high up in the sky, he looks around him. They are in the air, they are in the sky, so they will find clouds. So there are white and fluffy clouds and they are very close to him, and he tries to touch them. And after some time, the ride comes to an end, they come down again, and after that he says, at the end he says, like, can I do it again? He enjoyed it so much that he wants to experience it once again. So we understood how the hot air balloon ride is. Now, imagine that you went with Sahil for a hot air balloon ride. You are with Sahil in that ride. What did you wear? How did the basket feel on your feet? Did you feel the wind on your face? What did you see from the air? What was around you? You have to write all these things, like you got ready for this hot air balloon ride. What were your experience? What did you see? What did you feel? All these things you have to write. Share your experience with a classmate. Listen for one interesting detail that you didn't use and write it. Like you wrote down your ideas, and your friend will write down his ideas, which we'll share later. But in your homework, you have to write your experience. I mean, your imagination. My classmate named Blank shared an interesting detail. It is blank, which we will be discussing during live class. But for that, all of you have to write down your imaginary experience of the hot air balloon. So, students, finish activity 1, 2, and 3 in your textbook, and we'll be continuing this with either live class or the next video. So, till then, just these are fun activities. You can write them down and then just enjoy your day.